Is Matt Murdock's secret identity really and truly out again, and just when the Kingpin blows back into town, can things get much worse for the man without fear? Well, let's hop into the pages of Daredevil issue number 10 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Father Matt was horrified to see that Jason, one of the many orphans that him and his buddy Javi take care of, had managed to sneak into his room and get into his Daredevil stuff. At first, Matt tries to play it off like it's no big deal. Kid, you caught me, it's my Halloween costume from a couple years ago, pretty funny, right? Only, Jason is too smart to fall for this. In fact, he ends up turning the whole situation around on Father Matt, saying, hey, isn't it a sin to lie? Matt then thinks he might end up getting the upper hand if he tries a brand new tactic. What about radical honesty? Maybe if Matt can make Jason feel important and make him feel like he understands the double life that he's leading, then maybe he won't out him to Father Javi and the other children. But wait, another twist. Turns out Jason actually despises Daredevil because, get this, Jason says Daredevil killed his father, but who could he be talking about? Well, unfortunately for Matt, he ends up basically having no time to mull this latest bombshell over in his mind because he's already getting a call from Nelson and Cole. Well, Cole to be exact. Foggy is still unfortunately very angry with Matt about the whole faking his death and then never revealing himself to his best friend when he came back to life thing. Can you believe it? Honestly, Cole's pretty upset with Matt too, but he did promise to give him a ring if he ever ended up finding any information about where Kingpin is currently. So it looks like Daredevil and Elektra are going to have to suit up and hit the streets before Wilson ends up going to ground again. Now, if you read the giant-sized Daredevil special from a while ago, you'll already know that this is one giant trap set by the Kingpin, who is very much possessed by the evil sin of greed. Which, honestly, man, I really thought he was going to be possessed by pride. This is twice now I have totally gotten the sins all wrong. What was even the point of 12 years of Catholic school, I ask you? Nothing at all if I can't predict comic books. Now, it turns out that Kingpin and his new henchman, the Heat, have set up shop in an old abandoned apartment building. Elektra and Matt both think to themselves, damn, it's been so long since we've dealt with a supervillain hideout that looked this much like a generic bad guy hideout, right down to the boarded up windows and the overwhelming smell of mold in the air. To think Wilson Fisk used to be the mayor of New York City, used to have his own thunderbolts working under him. What on earth could possibly make a man like that fall so very far? Elektra and Daredevil fight their way inside the building, making short work of the Heat. It seems that despite this building looking like an absolute eyesore on the outside, inside it's been fitted with a bunch of death traps. Elektra opts to stay behind and fight it out with the thugs so Matt can finally go and have a one-on-one confrontation with his oldest and most hated foe. Obviously, Daredevil is full of questions. Why exactly is Kingpin acting so differently recently, coming back to Hell's Kitchen, fighting gang wars, and especially trying to kill his illegitimate son turned would-be successor, Butch Ferris? As Kingpin explains, he sent Bullseye after Butch in an attempt to try and scare him out of this criminal life. His son is far too soft and yet at the same time much too proud and brave to ever admit defeat and pack it in, meaning that Wilson might very well have to kill the new would-be Kingpin before everything is said and done. Matt tries to talk Kingpin out of this, saying he's not in his right mind, that he might as well quit while he's ahead, but of course Fisk isn't hearing any of this. He's always hated when Daredevil got so sanctimonious about trying to save his soul. And indeed, it's the soul that is most definitely on the table right now. In fact, Daredevil only has to fight Fisk for a little bit to realize he's a lot stronger and a lot more durable than he normally is, and that's because the Kingpin, like all the others before him, all the others who were important in Matt Murdock's life, has been possessed by one of the 7 deadly sins. Oh, and you better believe Kingpin has a whole Oscar-worthy speech locked and loaded about what it means to truly be greedy.
Well, I've learned from you, Daredevil, and it's made me stronger. No more abstract ambitions, no more being master of neighborhoods I'll never visit, no more international schemes. I've returned to seize the one thing on this planet that's most important to me, to make it completely, utterly, irrevocably mine, not just in law, but in essence. For that's true greed.
So yeah, needless to say, the fight does not go old Hornhead's way. He gets himself positively knocked around before eventually getting thrown out an open window. Matt says to himself that he tries his hardest to land safely, though mostly all he ends up doing is landing in a way that he doesn't break every single bone in his body. You're probably thinking to yourself, things can't possibly get any worse for Daredevil, but oh no, they always find a way to. It's at that very moment Father Matt's cell phone ends up going off. It seems that Jason has run away from the orphanage, and in his note he blamed Father Matt. Oh boy. Matt just cannot buy a break right now, can he? And so that was Daredevil issue number 10, and I gotta say, Saladin Ahmed really is turning in some of his strongest work recently. I positively love this take on the Kingpin. I can understand why he basically made him the POV character in that giant-sized Daredevil special from not too long ago. He's just so deliciously evil, and when possessed by the devil, imbued with superpowers, given special knowledge of Matt Murdock, and yet still kind of forced to act against his own will. It's just such an interesting way to have the character both go back to basics and yet also feel fresh and exciting. Likewise, Matt's personal life working at the orphanage has no end of absolutely delicious drama. Hey, do you think that Jason's dad is that guy that Matt killed accidentally when he was on painkillers? If so, I think that would actually be a really interesting way to tie all of this back to the Chip Zdarsky run and again continue to focus on Matt's attempt to find redemption and make the most of this brand new lease on life that he's been given. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another 8 out of 10. The Daredevil book just stays consistently great, and you know what? I'm very, very thankful for that. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.